They are advertising Aesop to me on the MSN homepage. And why don't I use something different? I don't care. That's why. It's all the same to me. I don't literally read. I use this as what they're trying to convince me to believe is real. Now, that is an algorithmic thing. They're finally learning how to advertise to me. It took them years. I just don't buy stuff. They're going to find out I don't buy enough albums to keep advertising to me. But long story short, we are back. It took me a while to get back, but we're back to Float, Breakfast with Blockhead, and Basic Cable. I have lyrics for Basic Cable up, and I got lost in reading some lyrics and looking for another artist reflecting on the lyricism of Aesop Rock, and something I was talking about in another reaction, and I realized these first lines, when we get to Basic Cable, are the reason I'm here. And even if there are things that, it doesn't matter. Someone penning television, all hail, grand pixelated god of fantasy, murderscape, and perspective. I'm in. There's all the challenging parts. Who cares? And if that bothers people who think there's zero challenging parts, well, then you didn't live my life. Which, this is Aesop Rock, Float, filtered through Rollen Green. Reaction, rants, and rabbit holes here through my experiences, unfortunately. And believing these opening lines are exactly up my alley. Who knows what's going to happen here. But for now, we're just having a simple breakfast with Blockhead. Now, it was a short meal. It looked like we were maybe just having cereal or something. I don't know. Actually, some of the reflective nature of those two artists makes me think that milk and their lifestyle choices don't actually mix. But that's a whole other story. Maybe I've interpreted some of that stuff a lot differently than its face value. Well, I did think, though, that his ability to work with words does put the cipher right at the surface level of his music, above a lot of other art. And what, 90% of other artists? You have the offsprings of, right? Because that would be a whole. I never asked about that, but I bet there is. Oof, very interesting. Very interesting. Breakfast with Blockhead. Short, sweet. Cereal. Grapefruit with sugar. I don't know, because it's otherwise you make that grapefruit face. Basic Cable is a place to really lose a lot of your time. Now,
welcome back.
Oh, yeah, I totally had some technical difficulties there. I really got to hire some information technology people to help me with that. But I am only good at basically subscribing to Basic Cable.
Television, all hail, grand pixelated god of fantasy, murderscape and perspective. Fuck a sore channel, change digit. I sit with a nasty network intravenous plan with a staple diet of my cable pirate. Yo, the doctor is in, the doctor is on. Born a bastard son.
Sure, easy enough for me. How I would take that right off the bat is, even though I don't really F a sore channel change digit, I sit with a nasty network, uh, intervenes plan, intravenous plan with a stable diet of my cable pirate. Yo, I believe I would take that as obsession of consumption of kind of thing. I mean, like, not only am I admitting it, and it's hard because now I'm probably totally wrong, and that's okay. We've accepted that from the get go. But because I spent a weird time in history having a crooked cable guy as a friend. And it turns out it could be part of existence. And this is whereas I take my own moral high road now and then. I was pretty gray there. Hit us. Never mind. Never mind what his wife did for a living, and never mind that life. But by crooked cable, pirated. That's why it hit me that way. Because actually, I think there's probably a different meaning. I think the meaning is that pixelated god of, you know, well, you probably shouldn't give any attention to any god entirely. Now I'm reflecting that through what we're hearing over here. I have other personal opinions, but boy, are they complicated as hell. But yeah.
Television, all hail grand pixelated god of fantasy, murderscape and perspective. Fuck a sore channel change digit. I sit with a nasty network intravenous plan with a staple diet of my cable pirate. Yo, the doctor is in, the doctor is on. Born a bastard son of static radiance, cloned and welcome in every home. Let a blue screen, bruise, dream canopy. Victim of the cursed nurse, technicolor drunk support team. I love all advertisements, though accused by robot newscasters to capture and pollute spoon-fed hazardous fog to joy.
Oh yeah. So no, I don't think I'm right at all. If someone knows out there, I'm only looking at it how I see it. Because right away, I think that goes into more being programmed by an environment controlled by. You're right. Right now, I'd jump out the window and go, "It's the indictment of here setting a kid down in front of the TV and letting that box raise them." Talk about stifling a whole lot of stuff, and then let's see. But I love all advertisements. We'll go back, and because I'm not getting very far into the bars, but I hate all advertisements, and not all advertisements are a Bernays-esque attempt to make you do things against your better judgment, but most of them are. And I'm done pulling out the damn. It's still on the floor next to me. I'm done pulling out the design degree that I just no. This is be a much better use of what I learned in that class, or what we're doing here is a much better use of what I learned in that class than selling you a can of peas. I'm just saying. If that old side wasn't attached to the peas, they'd probably be more affordable. In fact, I'd rather, it's not possible, but I'd rather those peas come from like a stand somewhere with, grown in a kind of a happier. I live on the country, remember? Country. So, but all of a sudden it just hits me as something not really indictment of that television like it kicks off, but more, or basic cable like it's titled, but maybe a system that created. And I mean, robot newscasters who capture and pollute spoon-fed hazardous fog to Joy Luck Catholic Squad. Now, that feels like some personal indictments because I mean you could get a good potluck dinner there sometimes, and there is a lot of ritual and ceremony that decent people have partaked in a lot of years. But if it was an uncomfortable, stifling environment to grow up in, holy shit, you'd probably have it reflected in your bars. So, yeah, long leaving what I'm thinking, and now we're into it. I mean, I would think this is reflections of the world that garbage creates, and I think that's enough. It would expand on those ideas, but that's what I would go with. From 39 seconds in, if it was just listening and paying attention alone. There. Yeah. Probably wrong.
Television, all hail grand pixelated, got a fantasy murderscape and perspective. Fuck a sword channel change digit. I sit with a nasty network intravenous plan with a staple diet of my cable pirate. Yo, the doctor is in, the doctor is on. Born a bastard son of static radiance, cloned and welcome in every home. Let a blue screen, bruised dream canopy. Victim of the cursed nurse, technicolor drunk support team. I love all advertisements, though accused by robot newscasters to capture and pollute spoon-fed hazardous fog to Joy Luck Catholic Squad. Please, call me. Please, make me a please. I wanna donate my brain to the monstrous Panasonic prophet. Now, 21st century plague, disperse the wide-eyed glamour addict patients, telecast patrons, glue me the propaganda ban as well. Sure, I'll be a Marine with a clean sword and blue uniform. It only takes $1 and a dream. And I abide, great idiot, box power supply, fuzz vapor, plaque out of New York. Hey, honey, get the generator. I'm in a Zoom generation pacing. Ancient electric secret, never sleeping to miss the AM oasis. A wired, hard, sloppy obligation. Turn my stilt into my guilt. Inhabit chatterbox, blame frame, adjacent station. Make reality scramble to suck the life out of a hidden vandal. And loving every minute of the gimmick. Change the channel, turn it on. Rob me up against the couch, lights out. I ain't ever gonna have to leave my house. Satellite dish, get up on my wish list. Turn me to a tyrant. Let my clean spirit dissolve through the appliance. Plug it in, turn it on. Be my mother when she's gone. Great, wipe the spittle off my chinny chin during the breaks. If I got go blind, I'ma do it for the love of all television kind. That's fine, that's fine.
Before we get into the next set of bars, I have now I don't know if this is true. It's something I've brought into my own belief system, but I was always kind of it's reflective in some of the ideas I personally think here, but it's a different idea, I guess. But the whole self-absorbed nature of, let's say, going all the way back to, some of you weren't born, maybe, if you're, let's say, but the whole lifestyles of rich and famous trends, the whole, no, probably were, as much older viewing. Bus riders have been around the block, maybe worked for a living and shit. Not that other people don't, I didn't mean it that way. I'm just trying to say that cooking shows and lifestyles of the rich and famous and some of the illusions, or join the military and get your nice clean uniform and crispy sharp sword to poke people with, give, share, support. Let me pull on your heartstrings so we can send 80% to the front office. Whatever control mechanism that system had, it was never very good for you. Trying to think what I think. Oh yeah. And I always believe that endorsing some of the ideas that came from his television and the propaganda that it contained, height of the fall of a civilization. So, I mean, I still think I'm sitting on the edge watching everything getting ready to implode. I don't know. I hope not, because I got to experience it. And hoping for a massive change doesn't actually create the whatever comes afterwards. The chaos of that experience comes first. So I worry because I think a lot of people needed to be lulled into a false sense of security. I know that's horrible and kind of selling out-ish, but as always, I argue the regional warlord theory, the whole how do you stop prison planet from happening, from strong, immoral people imposing their will on moral people. Ah, God, it sucks balls because we're here doing a reaction to songs. But possibly bread and circuses is an essential component, even though the negative side effects of it are obvious to the artists, the well informed, and the more advanced than partaking in the social contract. Yep, because I think the indictments are fair, but what does it look like without the bread and circuses? I like doing reactions, I guess, in my safe, happy room. I wouldn't really want to have to go into a combat zone just to get to work or some other uh, facsimile of existence that we suffer through because well, I didn't like their control. I don't like their control. Man, there's got to be a place in the middle. And there's probably going to be entertainment there too. So, it's all crazy because, I mean, you don't need basic cable to get your brain sucked out of you now. Just sign up for a brand new, social media account.
Make me a star. I wanna touch gold. Hold me suspended in a dream, merely inches from the screen. Deleted passion, sacrifice to one electron monster. Crucify my little future to the monitor. Damn, it feels good. Turn on, tune in, zoom in, and hug the bug up in your family function. The children seem to smother me in wild discovery and heard the static flock to where I sleep by the glow of that magic box. Speaker, stereo mastered, orphan kid of freak seekers. I spiraling, tangled in the star-spangled wiring. I can serve intoxicated visuals. The Lord of King's horses aboard the loyalty to royalty. Fortress, riddle me with glee. Hoist the end or teleprompt above my sleeping head. I'll be dead by morning anyway. Color my values with mundane humor and 30-minute tickets to feel the magnetic seal. Picket censorship. I want commercials 24/7. I wanna shop from my bed and set an example for all my overworked, underpaid brethren. I'm fine with a sin-stricken correspondence and lurking circuitry circus with allegiance.
I can't. Oh, wow. Oh. So I went off on that with the lifestyle, rich and famous, this is the end of empire shit because that's what I think the music make me a star shows. And I have human talent. I mean, we had real people and other dumbass shit too, so it ain't like it's fresh. People have been doing this forever. But at the same time, um, what you really, the how little these ideas. Where was that line? The commercials. I want to set an example for all my overworked, underpaid brethren. I do not actually align myself with the creative set. I align myself with the consumer set that's overworked and underpaid. Not for Aesop Rock reactions. I mean, I could always use support, but Ravenous got you all covered. Supported me so well on this that it's my honor to be here. I gotta lace in every other Aesop thing I can find just so I don't exploit the kindness there, because that's the last thing I'd want to do. But I align with the people being controlled by the ideas in the song. According to those bars there, at a surface value, what it means deep in the cipher, I don't know, whatever. You'd have to ask the artist. I'm not positive. I think I'm in a ballpark though here. And yeah, All it took was that psych and sociology back to back, and realizing how one and the other played together to affect the pictures I was putting on the page. Dude, I got pissed. Pissed. Because to me, it's this, right? In my own world, in my own way, and I'm not as creative. I think this dude is. I'm not worthy. But wow, I think this is a really great track. Heavy, deep. I'd pull up the lyrics, read through it, and see what you take from it.
Out from my bed and set an example for all my overworked, underpaid brethren. I'm fine with a sin-stricken correspondence and lurking circuitry circus with allegiance pledged beyond the glass surface. Adamant students within the fine school of possessed graduate catalyst, channel zero addict, immaculate. It goes big screen, little screen, any screen will do. Just let me hold the controller and I won't have to murder you. Plug it in, turn it on, let my little eyes glaze. 20 screens lined up along the borders of the maze. I wanna see the 5-day forecast, 14 days in advance, so I can get my 2 weeks notice every time the sun dance. Plug it in, turn it on, silent fix better than nothing. Let a once divine soul feel the functions of the hypnotist, the viciousness, ridiculous, peaking the dummy's interest. Touch the power button, means you maker, ain't that something? Plug it in, turn it on, say goodbye to Sunday afternoon. Fix the antenna, sit back and let disaster bloom. It's a beautiful sight with the most ugly intention, but I taste it every day and bathe inside the consequences. Plug it in, turn it on, never once have you talked back to me, your majesty. I love you, I despise you, my everyday is sin.
I love you, I despise you. Where's that line? Oh, there it is. Yeah, no, I'm not. Oh, this one's complicated. I'm curious what AI will take from this one. Uh, because I do, I, all right, from what I'm sitting here doing, I would hope for some people. In fact, I started out my day being told this that this is a good escape with a ice cold one, maybe after a long week. I hope you found this spot. I, you know who I'm talking to. Yeah. And so I hope it is a entertaining distraction from the grind. It's why I always weighed elitist entertainment versus a well created show and then a mute button in all commercials. Completely believing that all programming is commercial and the filler is the programs we watch. And that's Ange in a radio broadcasting uh, class, realizing that if you can't pay for the station goes under. We're here doing a hobby. I'm going to go to work. So it's a different deal. But I will say this is by far, this is up there. This is great. This lyrical content is incredible. I kind of got glazed over there at the end because it went hard enough that we're just come back another time. But I'm good with what I thought. I think that's a hell of a takeaway. I don't know if I'm right. But boy, I know I thought something of it. And that's a start. Go support your local artists or things you enjoy. That's second step. There. Later.